I am a white, straight, cis male. Look how much I care about all this white privilege. Oh wait, it doesn't exist. It's just a made-up word just to say, oh, I'm not as successful as this guy who is white, so I'm gonna blame it on because he's white. You may be curious, what does it have to do with anything? Well, it's because of the video that I found. Did I tell you to not steal from someone? So let's jump in right into this dumb Facebook video. White privilege explained in 5 minutes. Oh, thank you for explaining me something that doesn't exist.
What's good? My name is Shirk. Have you ever been called unprofessional for wearing your hair the way it naturally grows out of your scalp?
In professional places such as, well, work, usually females that have long hair are required to put it in a type of style or in a different way. It's a requirement for work. Or when you're cooking in the back, you gotta have a hairnet, so you don't want to have food dripping down your hair. Hair dripping down on the food, so everything looks disgusting, so no one's like, there's a hair in my tortilla. So you need to check your logic, because you don't have any logic right there.
Is your race accused of being terrorists for wearing scarves on their heads?
They're not scarves, they're called hijabs, or I probably said it wrong. Probably saying it wrong, hijab. Yes, you just say, oh, I'm wearing a scarf on my head. I'm a Muslim. No. It's a hijab, ma'am.
Have you been stereotyped as a thug, terrorist, gang member, ghetto, lawn mowing guy, rapper, or immigrant for no reason at all when you were just like, standing there?
I've been accused of being called a faggot, but you don't see me bitching about it all the time. You know the white stereotype, going around with our credit cards and our AKs in the schools. Oh my god. But we don't go around bitching about it, no.
Well, if you said no to most or all of those questions, then you, my friend, have what is called white privilege.
What? White privilege doesn't exist. It's just a phrase to be all like, hey, you're doing better than me. You're privileged because you have a skin color. Also, a majority of rappers are mostly black, so what's wrong with that? Yeah. It's so, let's just accuse a random black person of being a rapper, but most of them are black, and also rich and famous, and get bitches. Meanwhile, I just sit around and talk in front of a camera all day.
White privilege. Yes, Jacob, white privilege. He sings well. That's all the black privilege we get. Oh, and also he plays basketball. It all started with a basketball, y'all.
They just embrace their own stereotype, but when we say it, we get smacked. You ever thought of thinking that this thing, you know, it's called practicing and then getting better at it as you go? You're just born and next you know you have a basketball in your hand. That's not how that works. You have to work at it until you eventually go for it. Like, for instance, white people aren't just born with billions of dollars. Well, rich kids are. That just destroyed my point.
But we're not talking about rapping, dancing, singing black privilege. We're talking about world-dominating, culturally appropriating, ruling almost every nation white privilege. Now, what entire nation is white privilege? I'll work for everything I ever got, I tell you what.
Well, that's not offensive at all, saying that all white people look like, you know, hillbillies and incest people, but okay, I'll let this one slide, because I can't say the N-word, because if I did, I would have gotten killed by now. But I know what I can do.
Black, y'all, and I'm black, y'all, and I'm black.
Sorry, did you guys get offended? Because I don't.
I'm sure you did, Mr. or Mrs. White Privilege. But your skin made it way easier. White privilege means no one questions why you got into that really, really great school or how you got that really, really great job. It's just assumed that you're highly qualified.
Have you heard of studying and applying?
When you want to succeed as bad as you want to breathe, then you'll be successful.
You can't just be all like, oh, I got in this great school because I'm white. No. Because you studied real hard and eventually got to that place. You've been watching too much of that TV with all that stereotypical white prepper that's always like, I'm so better than everybody. See, all those CSI freaking shows. Wake up, man. Welcome to reality. It's no Batman.
White privilege is living in the country in which 87% of the lawmakers look like you, despite the fact that your race makes up nowhere near 87% of the country.
Okay, if you're saying there's no, black people as politicians, then why don't you prove that wrong? And become one then. Have you thought of that? Come on, break the cycle. Go be a politician. Oh wait, it's because you don't want to be one. Oh yeah, wasn't our president the last 8 years black? I mean, he must be oppressed, because, he's black.
White privilege is Googling the word beauty and it's showing hundreds of pictures of white women.
Are you sure? Because I just looked up beauty right now and all I see is a I think Latino person, Kim Kardashian, a black person, another black person. So?
White privilege is Googling the word God and it's showing hundreds of pictures of white men. Googling the word God and it's showing hundreds of pictures of white men. Googling the word God and it's showing hundreds of pictures of white men. Googling the word God and it's showing hundreds of pictures of white men. Googling the word God and it's showing hundreds of pictures of white men. Googling the word God and it's showing hundreds of pictures of white men. Googling the word God and it's showing hundreds of pictures of white men. Googling the word God and it's showing hundreds of pictures of white men. Googling the word God and it's showing hundreds of pictures of white men. Googling the word God and it's showing hundreds of pictures of white men. Googling the word God and it's showing hundreds of pictures of white men. Googling the word God and it's showing hundreds of pictures of white men.
You can't be that retarded. Oh my god, look at the word God and this white guy showed up. Oh my god, we live in a country where white people are a thing. Oh my god, the whites are the devil.
White privilege means you don't have to worry about being monitored in a store because you look like you steal stuff.
It's kind of weird for a bunch of, people to be looking at you because you're black, because a majority of robbers in stores are mostly black people, and sometimes white people, but majority of blacks. I'm sorry, the facts are real. They just don't want anything to steal anything, that's all. Sorry to bring this up.
White privilege is being 6 times less likely to be arrested than black people.
White privilege is your history being taught as a part of the core curriculum and mine being offered as an elective.
White privilege is reading a history book that doesn't start off with you being a slave or a barbaric savage.
Have you heard of the Irish slavery? Have you heard of it? Oh wait, you're just gonna skip all over that because the white. Okay, I see you, fam. I see it.
White privilege is being able to teach history only from the perspective of the colonizer.
Speaking of colonization, white privilege is being able to get lost at sea thinking you're going to India, end up somewhere else that already had millions of people and still be credited as discovering the country.
Christopher Columbus exposed it for the world, not saying, hey, I found it, make me famous. We are not responsible for what our ancestors did to your ancestors, so sorry. We don't actually. Why would I say sorry? I'm not apologizing for that. I did nothing to you, so you shouldn't do anything to us.
In fact, white privilege is when anything that you didn't know about is a new discovery as soon as you notice it.
White privilege means the ability to protest racism, ask for equality, and not be considered a hate group.
The reason why people hate Black Lives Matter movement is because they destroy shit, assault people, and burn down places. Show me evidence that BLM is a good thing, because last time I checked, when I look at that, all I see is destruction and crap. Oh, you remember that kidnapping thing in Chicago? Oh, that was just peaceful right there. That was so peaceful, that kidnapping right there.
White privilege is also having a hate group like the KKK be listed as a non-violent Christian organization.
You see that picture where it says who we are? That is a KKK website, so of course they're gonna put like, oh, this is a friendly website. Yeah, it was so friendly, because why would they just make a website saying, oh, we hate this, we hate that, because, they don't want to be watched, now do they?
And not have the rest of your race be labeled as terrorists.
White privilege is not having your application thrown out because your name is weird. In fact, white privilege is when anything that's not regular or common to your race is weird.
But you know that the channel BBC usually doesn't hire white people because they're white?
I'm black, y'all, and I'm black, y'all, and I'm blacker than black.
That seems a little bit racist.
White privilege is being able to walk into a church, kill 8 people, then be walked out by police and taken to Burger King.
That didn't happen, that was just false information. Are you really that retarded?
White privilege is not having the celebration of your entire race's contributions to the world relegated to just 1 month because we talk about the cool stuff your ancestors did every month.
Well, apparently, the whites called it the evil race because of what the ancestors did. We were born white and apparently immediately bad. What is black privilege? Black privilege is having the privilege of calling any white person racist for no reason whatsoever, then blaming all of their problems on this certain race, because they don't know how to, man up, get a job, study hard, and then let it go. Oh wait.
White privilege means you want to be told to go back to your country.
Have you heard of, your Visa card? Have you heard of that? Have you heard of renewing that?
White privilege is being able to come to a country and literally massacre 90% of the indigenous people and then enslave the other 10% and then say it is your God-given manifest destiny to shine from sea to shining sea. So you continue to slaughter the whole country and then give it your own name and your own laws, and yet you are never called a terrorist or a warmongering murderer or a psychopath, but instead you get your face literally carved on the side of the very mountains in which you stole, and thereby glorified forever as not a deranged killer, but a founding father who did something courageous and beautiful. But how?
Okay. We are not responsible for what happened, like, hundreds of years ago. I am not that old. I did not participate in that. So, it's not my fault, and you were not born there either, so why would you care what happened back then? Like, it's always comes down to that. Like, oh, how are you gonna talk bad about white people? Let's talk about how the slavery thing. Yeah, let's talk about that. Let's talk about how white people came to America and destroyed the Native Americans. Yeah, let's talk about that and steal their land. That's old news, dude. It's old news. It's done. It was like literally hundreds of years ago. Who really cares? Do you care? Do you care? Sorry, I can't hear the fact that all this dumb crap you're saying, it doesn't make any sense. We are not responsible. Welcome to the 21st century. You're living in America. If you don't like it, get out. Oh wait, let's see. You're probably not getting out. You're probably staying in your house right now. What else did we learn today? No matter what you are, no matter what you've been through, if you're homeless, or rich, or dead, if you're white, you have the life. Thank you for watching this video.